It's me, the D-O-double-G. Welcome to the Eden Army Podcast with your host tonight, Pete Robert Tucci.
Let's go. Are we live?
Yeah, I'm showing live.
All right. I like
What's
it.
up, everybody?
What's up, guys? Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah. And Pete's got power back.
I do have power back. Thank goodness. But it was an interesting time. And of course, there's a whole bunch of people that are a lot worse off than I am. So I'm very thankful and blessed for that. We did have some minor damage here at the homestead, but nothing we couldn't take care of. So it's all
That's
good
a
stuff.
good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, we are live right now. We're going to see how the internet holds up, but just a situation report on some of the stuff that we kind of went through during the hurricane, and where I found some of my preps were lacking a little bit, Russ. And that's always a good thing to kind of just a little brief run. 3 days, right? 3 days without power. What are you going to do? Oh my goodness, it's so uncomfortable. But what did you learn from those 3 days, right?
Yeah,
and
a little bit of an after-action report.
Yeah, and I always take that as an opportunity to go through my preparations. Good to see you guys. Kelly's good. Will, Christy, Guy. Guy, thanks for coming over. Guy came over and helped me out removing some debris. My comms tower went down on my fence, and he helped me move that. It was we put him on the back of the bush hog, and we rode around and did a few things. So it was good. What did I learn? What did I learn from this, Russ? I learned that you use a lot more water than what you really think. Now, I had staged 110 gallons of just water for washing your hands and not even drinking water, dishes, hands, wash your, get in the shower every now and then. And it's not enough for 3 days, for 3 people. It's not enough water. You'd be surprised. And you got to understand also that that's without saying, listen, you got to be really careful with the water when you wash the dishes or this or that. So that's one thing I learned.
Okay. So, all right. So 110 gallons, 3 people, normal activities.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So now we know that, 110 gallons, normal activities, we're going to have to change some of those activities. So that's a very good point. Very good point.
Yes, and water always. And look, that's before that was only 3 days. We didn't try to do laundry. We didn't try to do any of that. That stuff was just piling up, right? So when I get back from Fallout, we are going to revisit our potable water supply and see how we can fix that. Sorry, guys, how scruffy I am. This is post Milton Pete. This is what I look like normally when I wake up in the morning. So I apologize for that, but I wanted it to get live because I know we'd missed last week, and frankly, Russ, I missed you guys. Hell, I was not gonna.
Absolutely, man. I know you and I talked pretty much just about every day, or at least via text, and but still, being able to see the person that is Pete Robert Tucci, to see the expressions on his face when I tell him that, some of the shit that's happened around here, having to fuss about my lovely bride, and we commiserate together, and but it's a thing. It's a guy thing.
And look, even with the stuff that we went through, there's not I want to get over here real quick, Russ, and just show you. This is 10 miles down the road from my house, and this just goes to show you what 10 miles away. Let me go. I'm going to go to this one here real quick.
Yep.
What 10 miles away in one of these storms actually looks like.
Wow. There's a jet boat out there, folks.
Yeah, it's an airboat. There's an airboat out there. This is a Port Orange police department. This is their main thoroughfare, Dunlawton Avenue, their east-west thoroughfare across their bridge. This is not across the bridge, but this is right downtown, right here. Yeah, the canteen worked good. I made some food in it today. I didn't use the stick stove. I just used a little propane stove. So definitely one of those things, guys, where it's an eye opener. there's a lot more people worse off, and this is a fraction of what's going on in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia, right? So,
Well, and exactly, Florida is been getting hit with hurricanes and water and stuff like that for centuries now. And the topography has gravitated, both man-made and, with the help of the good Lord, to help some of that flooding go where it needs to go versus not where it needs to go. That didn't happen up there with Helene. It didn't have anywhere to go but down, picking up steam, picking up speed, and taking anything and everything in its path.
well, and one of the interesting things, Russ, is that places like we're seeing that are flooding right now in Florida never used to flood before. And it's all because of development, right? It's all because they're knocking down trees and those normal wetlands where they funnel this water. They've knocked them down. They concreted over them, and then they say, "I don't understand why it's flooding. It must be climate change." No, it's you idiots breaking down all the natural paths for the water to go with and putting in parking lots, right, or residential places. So that this is part of what's happening just a few miles down the road. So
that's pretty well.
we're blessed to only have a little bit of damage. Yeah, uncomfortable, no big deal. It's just one of those things, guys, right?
Yeah.
That we deal with.
Jeff, he doesn't live in that city there, Jeff.
I did read that though.
Building permit.
Yeah, I saw that he had posted that. Yeah, they could pound sand. Yeah, they could pound sand for that building permit for my fixing a fence. That's not going to happen. We don't pull permits out here where we live anyway, guys. So, but that's what we've been doing the last few days. Here's another consequence of this storm that people didn't realize even after the storm is that the municipal water supplies, they're limiting. Don't flush your toilets. All right, now you can't drink the water that's coming out of your faucet because now the municipal water supplies have become contaminated, right? So even if you're on city water, you're still going to have some of these issues. Luckily, I'm on a septic, so if I need to flush my toilet, I still have that ability for a while, right? As long as I can put some water inside the toilet, which is another thing that uses a gallon at a time, right? Chrissy, that was 110 gallons. It wasn't 10. It was 110 gallons that we went through. We have a little left over, but again, we have not done laundry and stuff like that. Another thing, Jeff says, yes, I am on a well. Unfortunately, my generator won't take the inrush current of that 1.5 horsepower motor on that, even though it's a 30 amp generator and I got a 30 amp breaker in my panel. The inrush current from the motor trips the breaker every time. Opie, got a huge pond out there. So, of course, but here's the deal. For a 3-day event, I'm not going to go siphon water out of the pond. I'm going to use what I have on hand, right? And, of course, that pond certainly was a good avenue should I need it if the event were to go on a little longer. If for nothing else, than to go take a bath, right? I mean.
And, you're blessed to have had a camper to be able to move into and have power and everything else. And that's where that 110 gallons of water came from. And a lot of people don't realize that's where it came from. And folks, so those of you that have campers, keep your freshwater tank in there full. I try to. I usually get home, I'll empty it after travels, and then I'll fill it back up. And then even if I empty it before, depending on how long I sit, I may empty it, do a little sanitization, and fill it right back up before I get on the road.
Sure. And good point. Opie, good point. Of course, yeah, water, if I'm going to flush the toilets, I would certainly go use the pond water if I had to. It's a no-brainer, right? That's why I have that big old pond. That's why I bought the property with that big old pond for things like that. Yeah, I'm thinking, Jeff, a little bigger generator, potentially to run that. But then, if it's a long-term event, you're dealing with gasoline. I'm considering solar option. Not 100% set yet on that, but we'll see. The good news is, Russ, you're right. I did have the RV, which was perfect. I filled it up prior with everything. When I knew the hurricane was going to hit, I parked it in such a way that I knew that the winds wouldn't be hitting it. All right. So even if the house went away, I would be able to live in that until we rebuilt. Right. Patrick, the stackable, yeah, the what we did, and it blows my mind with the people that are going out and buying water at the stores. Go to your local camping store, go to Academy, and buy those 6-gallon blue jugs. You know a hurricane's coming, fill them all up and set them aside, and that's what we do. We never go buy water at the grocery store. We don't do it. We don't have to. We fill up these. We fill up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these big 6-gallon blue jugs, and it's good to go. We can do what we need to do with that.
Absolutely.
And we
Jeff,
drink it.
yeah, and Jeff, I do understand what you're saying about being up north and winterizing your campers, but if you use it more, you don't have to winterize it.
Yeah, unless you're way up north where Jeff and myself are at, then there ain't nothing going to save that son of a gun. Your poop's going to freeze as soon as it comes out of your butt.
You should have saved that one. You should have saved that one. It's a poopsicle.
So some of the things that we've learned, and it's good, and we've also learned did have a little scary moment at one point before the winds got really bad. The gable vent on the side of the house where all the wind was coming actually pushed into the attic, and had my wife not recognized that something had happened, we would have waited. I would have never known
until it went through until it went through your bedroom.
Well, it would have ripped the entire roof off. Yeah, it would have been. The hurricane would have been in our house. So luckily, I had to actually get up in the attic 3 times during the hurricane to seal that thing up. So it's all good to go. We learned from these things. Nobody got hurt. That's the important thing. And what I also learned is, even your neighbors, if you don't like them or hate them, we all kind of come together, right? Now we got a good relationship with all of our neighbors, so we all kind of come together and do those things.
And I want to give a shout out to actually you, Pete. You trained your young lady, your daughter, right? Because you and I were sitting on here one of the last times we chatted visually before the storm, and Tiny had gone through her bug out bag, her 72-hour pack, made sure that she had everything that she needed. She came and told you, Dad, I got all this. You asked her a couple of questions. She said, yep, I got this. I changed this. So, Pete, bravo. Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, she's a sharp gal. And, the funny thing with her is she slept through the entire hurricane.
Of course.
So she wakes up, asks when dinner's ready. She eats dinner and then does a little schoolwork and then back to bed. She slept probably 22 hours out of the 24. So, wow.
Somebody needed to get some sleep. You didn't.
What level hit your house at? I think the biggest gust, Daytona Beach International Airport, which is close enough to my house, got up to 95. Biggest gust. So it was a Cat 1 through the storm. Cat 2 it started out. Cat 1 through the storm, and then with gusts of 95 miles an hour. So yeah, they went all through their bags. Both of them went through their bags. That way they got familiar with it. Melissa found some deficiencies in her bug out bag or hiking bag, and she's making those changes as we speak. So it was good, And another thing I thought worked really well, guys. And for those of you that participated in it, that Zillow group that we made worked fabulous, in my opinion.
It really did.
Yeah, even if you don't have cell signal, and you still have internet because some of these internet cables are underground, or maybe they're Starlink, right? You're still able to communicate with your group. And we decided we would do radio comms every 4 hours, just make sure everybody was good to go. But I monitored throughout the entire event should anybody have an emergency. And here's the deal also, 8 p.m. prior to landfall, they put a curfew. You weren't driving. They would pull you over. So, in an emergency, you do what you got to do, right? But something to be aware of during these things. So, what was Nick saying up here?
Nick said something about live tracking. A lot of questions about comms and fallout. Oh, absolutely, Nick. There's going to be a lot of questions about comms, but I will to caveat on the Zello app. For those of us that were not in the path of the storm, that have what we consider family that was in the path, it was a great peace of mind for us to be able to listen to everybody checking in. 8 o'clock the next morning, everybody started checking in whether they had power or not. It worked really, really well. And I was thankful for that from my side of the story, being up here in South Carolina. Now, ready to roll down to Florida if need be. I mean, shoot, we've been pretty much packed for the last week, but it was definitely well worth putting that together, Pete. So.
Yeah, I thought it was good. We had weathermen out there, so we were able to keep in tabs with Chris. Should something happen with him, we'd be able to go ahead and QRF to his place and scoop him and the family up. Jeff, the Zello app, exactly. And then all we did was just make a talk group for the Eden Army people, and we did situation or comms check every 4 hours. And you're right. If nothing else, it was for peace of mind, right, Russ? It was nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, peace of mind, like you said, for me, peace of mind for you to be able to keep in touch with your battle buddy and Eden Army One and everybody, even everybody else that was there, and especially those that were in that area, Susan, Will,
Yep.
Chris and Mel. I mean, we had people pretty Doc, AccuDoc was on there, and I'm going to put the talk group name in the chat over here.
Yeah, and the Baofangs guy, because me and Guy, we had we did the pace plan, right? We did our primary, which would be normal cell phones. We call each other up when cell phone towers are up. Our alternate was the Zello. Our contingency was going to be the ham radio, because the EOC, that's just a repeater, not the actual EOC. The EOC repeater was up and running and reachable from both my place and his place, which we tested out a day in advance to make sure it'd be good to go, right? So I felt really good that should something happen to me and I missed a check-in or something, Guy would certainly be on his way over here to check on us, check on the family. So yeah, it was overall a good experience for us to learn our preps and to build upon our preps. The other thing I want to talk about, guys, is I've long said, even if you had a mutual assistance group, in a shit hit the fan scenario, which this very well could have been for most people, even within your mutual assistance group, people are going to want to bug in rather than come to your rally point. Does that make sense? So what we saw in our mutual assistance group was people were freaking out about this hurricane. This is the worst hurricane. I'm so afraid. Okay, are you going to the rally point? Are you going to the ORP? They got a basement there, right? They're inland. Why wouldn't you go? No, we're going to stick it out. But you just said that this storm worries you worse than any other storm you've been through in Florida. But you're not going to utilize the resource of the mutual assistance group.
And okay, and to me, I'm right there with you. It doesn't make sense. I think people have the misconception, and it's again, this boils down to education. A mutual assistance group is not just for shit hit the fan. Well, guess what? Milton could be considered shit hitting the fan. It's just Mother Nature did this one. Yeah,
and it is a shit hit the fan situation for a lot of people right now.
Absolutely.
Right? Like Helene was for the people up there in Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. That's a real deal. You can't get any more shit hitting the fan than what those people are going through. So this is something I've always been concerned with mutual assistance groups. And this just, I guess, solidified the fact that during a real event, you're not going to have the manpower that you really need within your group, because people are going to want to shelter in place. So something to consider. And I asked everybody on our Facebook chat, I asked them, I go, are you going to the ORP? Are you going to? No, we're gonna stick it out. Well, they got a basement. There's 2 years worth of food there. There's plenty of water. But this is the thing that worries you the most. The biggest storm you've ever gone through, you said. and they still, I don't get it. So
it's a perfect way to test your mag's capabilities. You know, and under a real world scenario without the violence.
Exactly. And I mean, why not do a dry run? Why not do a dry run? I certainly would have had this thing been 20 miles more to the north. Me and the family were bugging out. It was going to happen. But I stayed. I had the RV ready to go. It was all fueled up. I knew I go. And then even at that point, I said, okay, it's shifted to the south. I took Tiny Tooch and I said, what do you want to do? You want to stay or go? She said, of course, stay. I asked Mama Tooch. I said, what do you want to do? So it was a family decision, and we did our thing. And it worked out for the best. Because, look, had we not been here, Russ, we would have lost a roof.
You would have. Yeah. You would have. Everything happens for a reason, man. You and I talk about that, about a lot of different things. Everything happens for a reason. You were prepared. You had the capability of making some immediate repairs to safeguard your house and your family. That's what this whole thing we do is about.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, and I learned a little bit about our family unit, right? Like, how are people going to react under stress? Because we had a half an hour to get that thing repaired before the heavy winds were really going to come in. And so we learn a little bit about how people react under stress, and some things might need to be changed a little bit.
You got to wake Tiny up a little earlier so she can function, or what?
And honestly, had she not been like being a vegetable in her room, we probably would have never heard that went in, because that was right above her room.
Oh, that's right.
Everything happens, right? And then it was good. Griff, what'd you think of the audio? Was that you that said I looked like a mix between a platypus and a something else?
I didn't catch that one.
It was an audible review. I only could figure it came from Griff.
Oh yeah, of course.
We'll get John. We'll have Russ get with you on that stuff, and we'll talk about some of the different frequencies. Also, get a hold of Nick Meacher, and he'll give you an idea on some of the things we can do there. I'm trying to figure out many people closer.
I missed that one. Who's supposed to get in touch with me?
That was your brother-in-law, I think.
Oh,
not ham frequencies. Yeah, Patrick, this is what I've said. This is what I've said over and over again, that
probably be able to help you with that.
Out of every group, Patrick, that's what I said for the longest time, and why I'm a part of so many groups, because there's only, out of every group I've ever been a part of, there's only about 3 or 4 people that I would say, okay, these people I can deal with. These people got my back. These people understand the concept of mutual assistance, right? So, and I'll be quite honest with you, I go to these meetings, I meet the people, and I find their best people. I don't poach them, but I get their phone number, right? And I'll tell them, hey, we got a Zello group going, or we got this going. You want to be added on? And sure enough, that's the only way it works.
I just read what Griff said.
Yeah, that's an actual review, by the way, for Audible. He said he liked the narration, but he thinks the author looks like a platypus and a fire marshal Bill had a baby.
Not nice, Griff. Not nice. Not nice at all.
And I can't argue with him.
But the Goodreads review was by far the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had one review on Birchwood Burning that basically said, hey, this guy's a right-wing nut job. And I said, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye. I mean, you bought the book, obviously. Thank you. Sorry, I'll loosen the tin foil a little bit more. But yeah, this person was.
She was touched.
I read it.
Was a little touched.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's all right. I like that. That means I'm pushing the right buttons, right, guys?
Absolutely. Sold a
So
book. That's it.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Every review you get, right, wrong, or indifferent, you sold a book.
Audible is live for 3 Days to Eden. I haven't checked in a couple of days on whether or not Birchwood is live.
Ooh.
It very well could be. Let me take a look here.
Let's
Nope, it's
find
still
out. Will we
you know
have a
it's
reveal?
no, it's still in review. So I suspect we got about what's today is the 12th. Any day,
Yeah,
this will get approved.
maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, and it'd be nice if it was before Fallout, right? That'd be cool.
Yeah, right before Fallout, Audible for Birchwood would come up.
Yeah, I would suspect so. What's the button on the top rail? What's the button on the top rail? I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about,
Yeah,
Chrissy?
so Nick is yeah, that's a good promo there, Nick. Oh, I might have hit the wrong one. Thank you. Sorry. I got it. So Nick Meacher doing ham testing at Fallout. Look, and you can take it the first day, figure out how bad you did, and probably pass it on the second day. I don't know. I suspect. Yeah, I suspect it could happen.
It can happen.
It could happen.
It can happen.
Yeah. Egghead, when is 3 Days to Eden sequel coming out? Let's take a look on where Chris is on that one.
Is there any change?
Let's see what we got here. Looking. Definitely not what I wanted to look at. Back. He is working on it. Let's see how far he's gotten.
Has he gotten past where he was?
Yeah, actually he has. So he is
Awesome.
currently on chapter 17 of 26.
Wow.
And then it has to go through, remember, it has to go through ACX's review process. So it is being done, Egghead. So absolutely. And then we're going to go right into the third one in that series. So it's happening. No sequel coming out. Nope, that is not the Birchwood book. Birchwood is a new series based on the same event, Egghead. So good to go there.
So it would be, so Egghead, Birchwood Burning is more of a companion series because it happens in the same timeline. Very similar to the way Contagion, or not Contagion, help me out here. Going Home series and
Charlie's Requiem.
And Charlie's Requiem are in the same event. This is the same thing, except it's just from two different points of view. Egghead, you're really going to like Birchwood Burning.
Yeah, and like Franklin Horton, all of his books are basically based on the same event, right? So, yeah, I'll believe me. Just watch the socials. I will tell you as soon as they hit the market. Birchwood Burning, guys, was burning up the ratings. I really appreciate y'all for that. Kelly, I think I'm going to be there around close to the same time now, around mid Wednesday.
Yeah. Speaking of, Kelly, did you guys able to get up to your house yet? And did you guys take your new camper to Colorado?
I don't want to talk about that. Camper's already there, he said. Wow. Oh, that's probably a good idea. That way you didn't have to try to drag it up. Guys, for those of you that don't know, Matt and Kelly were up there in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee area where they live. They're off grid. So their house and they have all the utilities they would normally have. However, their road getting up to their house was completely destroyed. A little tiny creek that the road once crossed over basically took out the entire road. So there was a GoFundMe account to help them repair that road. If you got a $1, $2 or whatever after you give to the Trump presidential pool, go ahead and consider them at least. So 6-hour drive is not bad. I might do a 2-day deal. I might get there Thursday. I don't know. I might drive half the way and just sleep and then get there the next. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, Patrick, those things are wonderful. I showed those the other night on, was it our podcast, Pete, or did I show
Mm-hmm.
them on Mountain Readiness?
No,
Um,
it was on ours.
yeah, those things are awesome. I caught them on a sale. You buy the inverters, you also got extra. You could buy these light sets. And the other night, I went out hunting and shot a buck, and took the smaller of the two and walking around. It was like walking around in the daytime, and I found what I needed to find, and so another deer in the freezer. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, those things work great, and the bigger one is called a pack box, is actually a battery charger. So if you have a generator, you can charge up that, which will then charge the batteries.
Gotcha. So, shave or don't shave before fallout. What do you guys think?
Let it grow, bro. Let it grow.
Can't. So annoying. Ugh. No. I'm never. Sorry, AK. It's never going to happen, my friend. I'll never give $1 to that communist state. It'll never happen. If I fly, lucky if I fly over it.
The Meta says shave. Kelly says keep it. Guy says shave half of it.
I considered that.
Jose Maldo says let it grow.
All right. That's my brother from another mother. He's a part of that mutual. He's one of those 3 guys in that mutual assistance group I was telling you about.
Yep. Patrick says keep it.
All right. I'll consider it. I'm thinking about going with the goatee. I haven't, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It'll be a spur of the moment thing. I'll just come out of the trailer. It'll be shaved, and everyone will ask me why I did.
You know what? I'm gonna make a prediction right now. So, a little backstory: when Teresa and I got married, we had a Western wedding, and I took enough leave time to be able to have some semblance of a goatee at the time, and all my groomsmen had it, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want you to have, a beard or a goatee because you're my best man, and we're all having it. We fly him up to Montana for the wedding, and there sits my dad. He comes up, he's got him a nice little goatee going. I'm like, all right, Dad, cool, that's awesome. The next day, he shows up. We go to pick him up to take him to the wedding venue, and it's gone. I'm like, really, Dad? I can't believe you did this to me. Really? But it is what it is. It was funny at the time. But Melissa's going to choose anyway, just wasting her breath.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. She probably will.
Patrick says he shaved his once, and his son, who was 3 at the time, cried. I've heard that story several times from people that had full beards or whatever, and then they come out shaved, and the kids are like, who the hell are you?
Mm-hmm. Let's look at this real quick. Let's get this up.
Is that still without?
Yep. So, guys, those linemen and tree trimmers here they came from all over the country, basically. They're kicking butt. Yesterday, there were 126,000 people in my county without power out of 197,000 customers. Today, there's 40,000 without power. These guys are humping it. So just an idea how hard these guys work. I make it a point to, during all of these, go see them, go talk to them, bring them drinks. I know, I give them a few extra bucks too, just for doing what they do. But
absolutely, like Thursday night, I'm headed to the processor to drop the deer off, and I got behind a southbound convoy of line trucks along with their support vehicles, and I just said, if I try to get around them, I'm going to get hung out to dry. I just fell in behind them, waited for my exit to get off the interstate, and But yeah, they are definitely, like Guy says, and you just said, they're doing one hell of a job.
Yeah, they are. And look, they're making a pretty penny doing it, but who cares? They're still away from their families. They're still humping it, 14, 15-hour days. Doesn't matter. Well, it looks like 10% of the people in your county are still without power. Let's see here. The hardest hit areas, of course, are over there toward Manatee County. Total customers was 214,000. There's still 95,000. So about half of them are still without power.
What does it look like in Sarasota County?
So Sarasota, I believe, is over here I think they're in Manatee County. Sarasota County right here. 299,000 people, customers, and 76,000 are still without power.
That's not bad.
It really isn't compared to what we saw yesterday. Now, they told me my power wouldn't be on until the 17th. I suspected that was just a number to saying that they could beat, and I'm sure that means basically everybody in the county, they'd get the entire county wrapped up by the 17th. But you got to remember, like that pictures I showed you of all that flooding, most of that area in particular has underground feeds with pad-mounted transformers. They can't restore power until that water goes down. And then how many pad-mount transformers are they going to have to replace?
Exactly. And Jose, as far as I know, in regards to Lake County, and Pete could probably pull it up on the map, up around where Angry American lives, along with Vinny and Peggy. Vinny and Peggy got power back yesterday. Chris was getting intermittent power back yesterday, and I hadn't heard from him today. I'm sure he's got his phone turned off because it's just been going crazy. His phone's been going crazy as it always does.
Jose, I'm not sure also because this is an FP&L, Florida Power and Light outage map, and that might be Duke Energy over there, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not 100% sure what Lake County's doing. Battle Gnome says there's an actual site that'll show you all of them.
Poweroutage.us.
Yep. I'll throw that up real quick. There you go. Good to go. But those guys are humping it. Yeah. Well, you know what, Nick? Here's the deal about FEMA. Let me pump this up real quick.
I got it.
Get this and get this.
Yeah. There you go.
Here's the deal with FEMA, in my opinion. Now, Nick, you're in emergency management. I've done a lot of emergency management. If the state and municipalities don't have their stuff lined up with the feds, FEMA's going to look like shit. FEMA's going to look like shit because there's no talking back and forth. We are very lucky here in Florida to have Governor Ron DeSantis, and the guy he's a savant. He's amazing. He knows how to do. I mean, he just knows how to deal with these things. So we were very lucky. He had 50,000 line trucks staged prior to the event. And remember, we're dealing still with the event in the I-10 corridor up in the Panhandle, right? So he sent National Guard up to North Carolina, to Georgia, to Tennessee, was able to recall them back for this event. The guy just knows how to manage people. And that's all you really want in a governor, in my opinion. I don't want a micromanager. I want a guy that's able to manage people, put them where they need to do, and let them work. And that's what this guy did.
Well, and DeSantis talked to the right people and told them what he needed and got what he needed. Whereas in comparison, North Carolina.
Yeah, you got to know what
you
got to know what you need. When
listen to the party's people who went 3 days.
Yeah,
the lieutenant governor went AWOL for 3 days and was out there helping on the ground. It will be an atrocity if that man is not the next governor of North Carolina.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, you got to know, like I said, you got to know what to ask for. It's not always about sending money in. It's not always, sending money in doesn't do anything. It doesn't fix a power line down. You need manpower. You need boots on the ground, right? And to have those guys staged and to actually know how to manage an event like this is huge. And DeSantis has it down to a science, and we're just very lucky to have him here in Florida.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Hey, you know, I saw a meme on Facebook today. It says, you know, when a natural disaster happens, people don't look for the beta male, soy drinking, tight jean wearing, Tesla driving individual. They want toxic masculinity. They want they want a bunch of rednecks with trucks and chainsaws and four wheelers to come and save their ass. And
Right.
that's what is currently happening still in North Carolina. And guys, if anybody else is watching that's not in our core group and you donated up there, they have just been overwhelmed with donations. They are actually having to turn stuff away because of the amount of support that has been poured into North Carolina. And, you know, I've got several sources that I push around stuff to. I have a local farm that I go to, and they've already sent 7 truckloads up, and they had another 7 staged and ready. She actually came up and asked me if I knew anybody. So I called Steph and put her in touch with Steph. Steph had to turn her away. So she tells me, what can I do? I call T. T's like, well, I don't have anybody, but hold on a minute. He asked Amber. Amber had somebody, and I think that's where it went to then. So, you know, this is why we have this community, guys, to be able to help. If I don't know somebody, I'll call Pete, or I'll call Chris, or I'll call somebody, or T. You know anybody needs this stuff, man? I got 7 horse trailers, loads of stuff, ranging from, you know, charcoal and charcoal grills to baby formula and diapers and horse feed that's ready to go. Cold weather gear is all ready to go. It's all about knowing people and being able to bring that community together in a time of crisis.
Yeah, you're right. And how about that work T's doing with the Mountain Readiness community, bringing in stuff, and that guy. And he's one of those guys that he can manage. He understands. He can manage people. He understands how to take it from nothing to something, and that's an art. That's a skill, right? And he's good at it. And God bless him. He's really getting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to sit down and listen to T talk about his younger years growing up, you understand why that is.
And you'll laugh a lot too.
And you will laugh a lot as well. I saw up earlier in the post, somebody asked about doing a one-day thing to kind of help T and them out. I'll reach out to T and see what we can do. Maybe Sunday afternoon after everything dies down at Mountain Readiness. If he needs help moving stuff around, maybe we can get something together, and the Eden Army and whoever else wants to join us that are still going to be there for the next couple of days for your class. Maybe we'll go out and do something like that.
Yeah. And Nick makes a good point here. Look, you can have all the supplies you want. If you don't have the logistics in place to send those supplies out, you're going to have what happened in Haiti and in Puerto Rico, where that stuff rots on the tarmac of an airport, right? So it's a process. Emergency management is a process. It's an art form, and you can't just, and that's why I have mixed emotions about sending in a bunch of civilians to help in some of these big cities, because someone has to manage these people for the most part. But up in these hills where like Kelly and Meta are at, where the feds don't care about, look, that's a good old boy. Where Javi's at right now, he doesn't need anybody to come out there and help him. He doesn't need anybody. Those are good old boys out there, and they'll take care of their own. As a matter of fact, when the feds get there, they're going to be in their way, because they're going to say, oh, you can't build a road like that. Oh, you can't put a culvert in like that. F you. These guys have been doing this for generations that way, exactly. And they're going to do it this way again, and get the hell out of their way, or they're going to run you over and put you in a hole where they've got already dug for you. So
absolutely.
It's,
a shout out to, parents that are doing the right thing. Javi's son rode the storm out down there near you. And I called Javi the other day when he checked in on Zello, because I didn't catch the entire conversation. And I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything important. And his son had gone and gotten sandbags and stuff like that, and filled up sandbags to go help a friend's grandmother make sure her house was shored up.
Yeah, and
That
knowing
is,
and right, just the smarts and knowing where that resource is at. They were out of sand everywhere. So
mhm,
Caleb calls me up and goes, "Hey, I know
mhm,
you live on a big old sand ridge. You mind if we fill up 30 sandbags?" I go, "Come on, come on. I'll
yep,
show you where to dig the hole." Matter of
yeah.
fact, I've already got the hole dug. You could take the backfill. I always keep a hole dug, 6 foot hole dug, constant all the whole time, Russ. So
Hey,
he could just
you
take
you
that.
have
That
a
I
you
wouldn't.
have you have a daughter. Understand? You and I talked about that. You will have complete deniability. So
So
we
it's
talked
I
about
told him just that sand I was going to backfill that 6 foot by 6 foot deep hole. Take that. I'll get the backhoe and do another one. So,
it. Hmm.
but he did well. I checked in on him a few times through Javi, and he did good. Guy, more
Absolutely, Corey.
Corey,
Absolutely.
more than one occasion, my friend.
Yeah,
So
I could use one of these days when
could
Russ
use a
finally
whole.
quit.
You could use a whole field.
No, I could use a mini X of my own. I want a
Oh,
mini excavator of my own that I can do some stuff around here. But like Teresa said, as we were walking through the gun show today, um, we need to win the lottery. But it's that you got to play to win, and,
right. I've got a
and
I've got a mini X. She was about 4'9", blonde hair. Looks a lot like the girl on the cover of Birchwood Burning,
uh,
but she was a mini X. I just called her the
yeah,
spinner.
yeah, mine was a Maxi X, still is.
Jeez.
Well, but we won't go there.
Hey Javi, good to see you, brother. Glad everything's well. We got power
Javi,
back.
I was just bragging on you there, brother. You're gonna
Yep,
have to watch.
Javi.
I'm not saying it again. You're gonna have to watch the replay in order to catch it.
Yep, he was bragging on how well you brought up Caleb. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet, Corey. You're gonna have 4 or 5 holes staged.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Although, although I think that mid one might be able to be the one putting them in the holes. So
Yeah, he'll
yeah,
have to hide. He'll have to hide evidence with what she
yeah.
does.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got here.
Was Will in here? Will, I know you. Yeah, yeah. There, Will. There you are. I tried calling you earlier today, Will, in trying to help you fix your equipment issue, but you didn't answer. So I tried, brother. It's actually getting kind of chilly up here. It was 46 degrees this morning when we got up, and the weather is supposed to be in the 40s while we're up there at Mountain Readiness in the evenings and overnight, and in the mid to high 70s during the day. It's going to be beautiful. There's no rain in the forecast, the last one I checked. Dress appropriately, folks. Plan appropriately. I saw Guy and Chris talk about a tent heater. Be careful with those. They can turn over on you in a just like that. So
It's only going to be 40 degrees. You're not going to need a heater. You got a sleeping bag. And for those of you that are taking the class, the Troy's Gate class, the Monday and Tuesday, rain, shine, cold, sleet, snow, doesn't matter. Figure it out. It is happening.
mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Will, I tried to call you earlier today. Call me after this.
The cell phones are screwed up here. Wow, Terry says in the 30s.
Ooh.
I love it. I need that right now in my life.
Yeah, we did. And we have already ordered a truckload of firewood for our evening fireside chats. So
I did not see that, Jose. Shoot it over to me. Shoot me a link for that.
so the weather, it had this cold front's coming through, so it has changed a little bit over there in Harmony, according to Corey. Low 30s, mid to low 30s at night. That'll be nice. I'll sleep
Oh,
good.
I need that. I need that in my life right now.
Jeff says they had frost a couple of nights ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know what it is up at the North 40 Writing Shack. I haven't
I don't
looked
know.
at it.
Let me look. I'll look up. Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Okay.
I think I still have it saved on my phone.
Well, Patrick, don't forget we're having a little reader get together, reader appreciation get together in February. If you can make that, you're more than welcome to come camp out on the 10 acres here. With the rest of
Highs
the...
is currently 49 and cloudy in Birchwood.
Gotcha.
Highs are in the 50s. Low on Tuesday will be 24.
Hell yeah. Love that. You don't need a space heater for Gabriel. Put that boy in a damn sleeping bag and let him get tough.
Absolutely. Give him a whoopee and tell him to suck it up, Buttercup. All right, so let me make. You were talking about your event. 21, 22, 23 Feb. That's what we decided. Yes. Yeah, because we weren't going to count the first weekend because the first is on a Saturday, so it's the week after race week. The week after Daytona 500. So
Okay, there you go.
That'll be helpful. Be a little less crowded.
Yep. And you guys don't forget, it's rustic camping. There's no hookups or anything like that. Oh, hold on, my neighbor's calling me. Make sure it's not an emergency. Go ahead, brother. I turned them on. I went up on the power pole and threw them jacks about an hour ago.
He said, "Fuck it."
Yes, sir. Good to go. You need anything over there? No. Yeah. You need anything? I know. I feel you. Once I get back from this event in North Carolina, I'll take care of those trees and stuff that we talked about.
But yeah, guys,
You bring the whiskey, I'll bring the manpower.
just guys, make sure that you check out the weather forecast
Right.
before you go anywhere.
All right, brother.
That
Have
way,
a good night.
You don't have to worry about it.
Probably Tuesday or Wednesday.
And we'll just go from there, guys.
Yes, sir. All right. Adios.
Where's my
Yes,
darn mute button? On mute. Okay,
sorry, guys.
He's done.
Sorry, we got to check on our neighbors, right? We got to check on our neighbors.
Absolutely.
What do you got, Russ?
Oh, I was messing with you, telling you there's this function called mute, but
No, might as well. I tell everyone what I do anyway. Just
we know. No, Patrick, the one in February is actually down in Florida. It's down at Pete's Place, Daytona Beach, and it was a good time last year. Pete's not allowing me to cook anything major this year.
Yeah, we're not doing. I went through the budget from the hog last year, and no, we ain't doing that shit again.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact, me and Russ are up 24 hours straight. We need to enjoy. We need to enjoy this event. So we'll do normal hot dogs, hamburgers, all camping stuff like that. Maybe Melissa wants to do something different, so that may change. I haven't talked to Russ about that yet.
Okay. Well, and
doesn't involve you cooking.
Oh, okay. Well, I did mention that if someone were to provide a brisket, because Russ can't come off a brisket by himself anymore, I would consider cooking a brisket on my smoker. All we did was keep the pellets filled up and let it go, and make those Phillies, Philly brisket, the brisket Philly cheesesteaks. Those things were the bomb.
They were pretty good, yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. My son wants me to do one before I leave, so I can leave him all the stuff. I said, "Well, go buy me a brisket." Well, but I'm gonna have to brag on my son today. He adulted. He adulted all by himself. Now, I told Pete this, and his registration had come due while we were gone. And he saw it in the mail and he looked at it, and then he was working 12s and promptly forgot it. So this was back in May. And I went and checked on my stuff, and lo and behold, I saw his, and it was not paid yet from back in May. And I told him that you need to make sure that happens today on Friday. Well, yesterday on Friday. And he actually found the piece of paper, went online. All yes, I believe Shane is going to have his cooking shack going. You might want to ask that question on Monday night on Mountain Rangers Monday. For those of you that probably missed it, I was actually a guest on there. I was actually surprised that he asked me to be on there. I actually had a great time. And it's weird being on the other side of the camera when it comes to some of these things. It's
different, isn't it?
It is definitely different.
Sucks.
Yep. Well, if you want, you can make that announcement. I reckon. If you desire, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you'll find out. They'll find out.
Oh, we're gonna surprise them. All right, cool.
Sure. Monday was a great show. Yeah, everyone did good over there on the Mountain Rangers. Yeah. T's got a knack for that stuff. Russ has got a knack for it. It's all starting. Look, we're all new to this. Other than Weatherman, who's been doing it a long time, we're all kind of new to this.
Well, I'm gonna agree to disagree with you on that. Chris has been doing, his own thing on Facebook, YouTube Lives for years. But the thing is, Chris is one of those guys that you could throw him into middle of bum wherever, surrounded by nobody else that he knows about, and he can sit there and talk for 2 hours about anything. And he is just that good of a personality, type of a speaker. There are those of us, however, that can't really do that as well. Now, my wife accuses me of being able to talk to a stump, but I also had to be able to be somewhat comfortable with the audience. It don't matter to Chris.
Yeah, and that's what I told my wife when we had first started hanging out with Chris. I go, that's a gift, and the gift. Well, they call it the gift of gab, right? That's what they call it. I don't have that. I don't like hearing my voice. I don't like talking for the most part, and it is certainly a gift. Yeah, we just decided we were going to pop on now that I got electricity back finally after 3-4 days, whatever it's been, and that's why we're on Koala. So.
And absolutely. And for those of you that don't know, Julie and Roy Dorn and those guys and their friends will not be able to make Fallout this year. But Julie, at least at last known, is sending her current, what's the word I'm looking for? Normal things she brings to the party. So there will be Jello shots. You're just sending them with somebody, but there'll be Jello shots there for courtesy of Roy and Julie.
Yeah. So, and Nick had mentioned. Let me see if I can't pop that on real quick. Nick had mentioned. Yeah, Nick was on last week, the week before. Talking about comms. We
Along
also had
with Mike White.
Mike White from Comms Connect, and then Chris had some stuff. So it was a busy show last week. But
that was the seat of our pants show.
Yeah, we kind of and props to Russ for putting it all together, because I just kept calling him and go, hey, we're going to do both Nick and Mike White at the same time. He's like, well, we've never done that before on this show, but I'll handle it. And I go, oh, by the way, Chris is coming on too. He's like, oh, shit, okay, I got it. I can handle it. So that's why he's such a valuable asset to not only me, but to Chris.
I haven't gone back and looked at it yet.
Yeah, no, it went well.
I thought it did. You and I always, we always talk about these things afterwards and what we think went well and what we could have done a little different. But hey, it's a learning process. Restream is a new program for us, and we're learning it. Let's see, what does Patrick say? I've never met Mel or Chris in person, but I've been talking to them online for years. Great, humble people with a great sense of humor. Patrick, wait till you meet him in person. They're totally different. Mm-hmm. Totally different. You're not even going to recognize them.
Yeah, nice folks. So down to earth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I've said this story a million times when I first started writing, and maybe my second book came out, and I was like, I need to promote this book. I call up Chris and I go, "Hey Chris, I want to be on your podcast tonight." And he goes, well, whatever, yeah, whatever. He never really gave me a real answer. And I was on my way to his house with my little mini trailer that I sleep in, and I basically pull up in his front yard, and he wanders outside, and he goes, I go, told you I'm going to be on. Now you told me to promote these things, so here I am promoting these things. I'm going to be on tonight. He goes, well, okay, all right. So I basically just freeloaded in his yard. And here's the deal: when you go over Chris's house, you're staying the night.
Okay,
you're staying the night.
Wasn't this also the weekend that Egghead was down there?
No, that was different.
That was the other weekend. That was the other weekend.
Egghead. That was a different. Yeah, that was one of the first nights I hung out with everybody, and then it was the podcast, which a whole bunch of weird stuff happened then, and then it was it was a 420 party. That was another one. So you're always gonna have a good time. Egghead. That was the first time I met Egghead.
Egghead's my brother, man. Egghead, is talking about it, and I told him, hey, this is on your way. Stop. If you need a break, stop, spend the night. You're fine. And he had ordered some gear from ATS Tactical, and it hadn't come in yet. I said, we got you covered. So he shows up at the house. Teresa feeds him shrimp and grits. That's her thing. Y'all know that. And next thing I know, Egghead is rolling down to Florida using Teresa's ATS Tactical gear, which fit him better than mine did at the time. And then he stopped on his way back, dropped off the stuff, and headed on home. And that was my first meeting with Egghead after talking to him numerous times. And it was, I consider myself very, very blessed to have been able to get into this community. And, most of us have gotten together because of Chris. And, Pete saved my butt at the pig roast that Nick Meacher is is talking about. Chris and Mel were bouncing back and forth at the hospital when a little bit was in the hospital, and I was running the range, and Pete came out and saved my behind after me being up for, 40 some odd hours. And ever since then, Pete and I have become really good class friends, and I consider you a brother. You know that, man.
Absolutely. And and you're right. I never thought of that, but a lot of this has been through Chris and Mel, right? I mean, that, I don't know and not only that, but Chris is the one that grabbed me by the ear and said, get to mountain readiness. You need to do that. And
you came kicking and screaming.
I did. Yeah.
And Christy, if you have that shirt, yes, bring it. And if you can find it again ask Teresa what size she wears and get one for her, and I'll take care of you when you get up there. Yes, Teresa needs that shirt. So, hey, Egghead, it's what we do, man. Egghead is now on the left coast, and we continually pray for his safety. But he seems to be enjoying it. He's going and watching his daughter play volleyball. He actually has time to do that as a military judge, Your Honor. So, we miss you over here. We do. We really do.
Yeah. Hurry up and retire and come back to the land of the free. Toolbox.
He'll get about as far as Colorado, and that'll be about it.
I suspect you're right.
Yeah. Patrick said it. Stumbled into this community because of Chris, and I'm so glad. I got to interact with everyone. Until recently, Joe Dolio lived near me, and I hung out with him a few times. Yeah, Joe is living up in the Great White North now. He has actually moved up to Montana. And 2.5, 3 hours from where my sons live. So the next time we go visit them, we're going to run up there and hang out with Joe while we're there.
Did I see Ma Weatherman in the house?
Yeah, my weatherman was in the house. I don't know if she's still back there just listening or what.
Oh, there she is. Yeah. Hey, Ma Weatherman, how you doing? Yeah, well, there's no one quite as special as you, Opie. Javi's a close second. That's why I think you and him get along so well. Javi was sitting next to the fire last night, guys, and he knew I was going through a tough time here. And he was by the fire up there. He had gone through a tough time with the hurricane up there. And I think he was a little sentimental. He was sending me pictures of the fire, of whiskey, telling me how much he missed me and loved me. And that's the brotherhood I love right there. That's here's the deal about some of these people, Russ. And I don't know if you feel the same way. I knew Javi way before all this, before I even wrote the book. But whenever I don't see Javi for 6 months or 3 months or 4 months, once we get back together, it's like we didn't even miss a beat. You know what I mean? It's like
you're exactly right. And for those of us that are in the audience and me that were in the military, they understand that. What was it? Not last summer before last, we went up to Williamsburg, Virginia, and I had a military reunion with guys that I had not seen in 37 years. And it was literally just like we had broke formation and were headed out to our work areas in the weapons storage area and on the flight line. I mean, we literally picked up conversations right where we left off. The wives were like, holy cow, I don't understand. They're like, you chewed the same dirt, and it's just, years and years apart, or days and days apart, and you pick them up. And these guys are the ones that molded me into the person I am today. I was a snot-nosed 8-year-old redneck from South Carolina with a real smart mouth. They fixed that within the first 6 months. Back then, they still had wall-to-wall counseling, and I am a testament that it works.
Javi fired me from my own remodel because I was an electrician back in the day, and I was wiring my own house. And Javi fired me from my own remodel. He says I was going too slow.
Hey, he was a GC. He was a GC, man. He can do that.
He said, get out of here, gringo. You're too slow. Let me handle this.
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
But then Javi, I knew I was probably an all right electrician because then he calls me up for his brother's house, and I've told you this story before in Laredo, Texas. He says, "Listen, my brother's house caught on fire." He goes, "He's just building a little remodel. He's gonna just a little remodel to come up here for a week. 110 hi-hat cans in this little remodel." A 400 amp service in this little remodel. Yeah.
I don't have that much at my house.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. So, what do we do here? Wait till you hear Javi's voice. Oh, that's what we have to have next. Oh, damn it! I gotta be in Fallout before Thursday. For sure.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to do the podcast from there because we are bringing as long as he's not on shift, we're going to bring the narrator on.
Okay. Yeah. So you need to reach out to him. So yeah, reach out to him. Let me make a note. You continue talking. All right.
Yep. I'm reading chat here.
His name's Mike, right?
Matthew. It's Matthew.
Matthew. I don't know why I want to call him Matthew. Oh, Mike.
Mike White.
Mike White. That's probably why.
It was a big house. It was a big house. You didn't tell me it was a big house, though. Little remodel. I got to fix my brother's house up. It's a little thing. The thing had a damn floating mezzanine over the living room. I don't even know how he engineered that. because there were no friggin' posts or nothing. It was floating over. I don't know how Javi's amazing. I don't know how he did all that.
Okay, so Egghead just asked if you guys ever go to Vegas. He hits Vegas a fair amount. As
I'll
a
be in
matter
Vegas.
of fact,
Yeah, I will be in Vegas next month for Author Nation conference at the recommendation of Franklin Horton. So I'll be there next.
That's the 10th through the 15th, I think, isn't it?
I don't know. I have to look at my calendar. I know I got this, and I got 2 weeks back here or something or other, and then we're flying out there. So yes, Egghead, we will be in Vegas next month.
Do you have Egghead's phone number?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Okay, Egghead, if it's okay,
that small house was only 5,000 square feet.
Egghead, if it's okay with you, I'll share your phone number with Pete. Just give me a yay or nay.
400 amp service with no drawings, by the way. We basically just designed it on the fly. Twice we had to wire it because apparently they got different requirements there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But at least you had the same experience down there that he had up in the Northwoods.
Yeah, he was. I was the only white dude, the only gringo there. Apparently, I turned homosexual while I was there. That's a story for Javi to tell around the campfire. But I got payback when I brought him into the Northwoods chit chat bar. Patrick, I'm not far from Michigan, up the UP once I'm at the Writing Shack. So you're more than welcome to come hang out in Wisconsin with me for a day or two, or if you'd like. Let's talk about this bunker. That's he's talking about the Birchwood book, I think.
Yeah, he's talking about Will, hush, no spoilers. But so Egghead's going to be there the week right before you. So depending on what your dates of departure are, you may miss him or not. It's called Tactical Spooning. Absolutely, Patrick. Absolutely. Me and my best friend, we have been cooking hogs together for well over 50 years. You know, his dad was the one that taught us how to cook hogs. And we cooked one, this is probably 10 years ago. Very cold one night. We had cattle gates with welding blankets over it. We happen to have welding blankets on the pit to keep the heat in. And it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. We're the last 2 men standing. Everybody else went inside the house. So we pulled the boat cushions off of his boat, laid on them, curled up underneath a freaking welded blanket to just get like an hour's worth of sleep. And next thing we know, we get woken up of hearing the old flip phone camera going click, 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 click. And we're like, you know, we looked and saw who it was, one of our friends' wife, but we're like, screw you, we're just trying to stay warm and just roll back over, snuggle back up.
That's it.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Dusty's a first responder. Worked with him over in Port Orange. Dusty, thank you for your service. I'm not just saying that because I know what you guys went through during this hurricane. You may still be going through it. I know you're away from your family and stuff like that. So thank you, brother. You guys are awesome for what you do. And I will say that I did not miss that hurricane mandate that you guys normally get. It was nice to be around the family. So yeah. I do appreciate I was thinking about you guys a lot when I was looking at the pictures of the normal places that flood that you had to go rescue these old timers from because they just are too stubborn to get out, even though they flood every year. I was thinking of you, brother, and we certainly appreciate you. Dusty's a good dude. Dusty's not a bad medic. He's all right. He's all right, but he's how I always measure the gauge of a medic, Russ. I say, would I want this guy treating my family?
Or me.
or me. I mean, I don't care so much about me, but Rusty's one of those guys that I would say 100%. He's going to do something to try to save your ass. He's going to do it, and might be right, wrong, or indifferent, but he's going to do his damn best. And
Well-
that's my buddy Dusty. So we appreciate you, Dusty.
Well, hold on, Corey. Let me see if I can get Daisy back here. Teresa, if you're watching, can you send Daisy back here? I think Teresa was on earlier. I don't know if she's still watching or not. But I agree with you 100%. And the thing that you mentioned, and it applies to every situation, guys, right or wrong, make a damn decision.
Yeah, boy, you're not kidding.
You
You're
know,
not
right or
kidding.
wrong, make a decision. Indecision kills more people than anybody else. Daisy, hold on for a minute. Daisy, come here. Come here. Come here. Oh. There you go, Abigail. You say hi to Daisy. What's it? One of your fans wanted to say hi. Here's Uncle Pete.
Aw.
Here's Uncle Pete.
She's
She
like,
can't
no.
hear you. All right, I'll let you go now. Good
Ground squirrel. The ground squirrel killers.
Yes. You're welcome, Corey.
I check in on Dan daily. He's doing well. He offered to come help with some stuff, but I knew he had stuff of his own to take care of. Dan is moving and shaking. He's doing things the right way. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but Dan is doing things the right way.
Very
in this
well
whole
said,
prepping
Diane.
community.
Yeah. Very, very well said. Indecision is a decision to not make a decision. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%. And actually, I reached out to Dan as well because he wasn't part of the Zello group, but I knew he was down there in that area. I reached out to him and, just to make sure he was okay. I've done that to a lot of folks that weren't actually in the Zillow group. And everybody that I know in Florida is fine. Donnie and Joey are fine. They lost some shingles on their roof, but luckily it's a rental. So the landlord has to take care of that. And, other than that, they're doing fine. Very good. Very well said, Corey. So Corey says the best thing to do is the right thing. The second best thing to do is the wrong thing. The worst thing to do is do nothing. Well said, Corey. Well said. Oh, Egghead wanted to know if you have a shepherd like the book. Oh, you broke it open. Can you hear you, Pete? Unmute.
Sorry. I muted because you told me I didn't mute last time. Yeah, this is post hurricane. I didn't drink obviously during the hurricane, but yeah, now that the power's on. Oh, that's the one we put the stave in. Nice. Save that. So get that out of there. Burn it again, Russ.
So I'll make a triple oak.
Yeah, get that. Burn it again. Put it in the other oak and
In the double oak?
Absolutely, 100%. Don't be scared.
Okay. Oh,
It's fair.
scared.
It's fair
I ain't
for Crown. I mean, it's not. We'll ask how is it? It's fair for Crown. It's Crown. It's not not high end like Javi buys me, but it is. It works.
Yeah, Patrick. That happened. If it's the one I'm thinking about, Patrick, it happened several months ago when he was doing some moving his mother-in-law from Oklahoma to New Orleans. Unless he's seen another one since, but Chris, guys, is a freaking shit magnet. Y'all know this. And if something's going to be going on around him, it's going to be around Chris. And but luckily, he is one of those guys that you know what to do. He knows what to do.
And he also used that to promote how important ham radio was.
Mm-hmm. So, Corey, which bottle are you talking about? He says, expect that bottle is coming to New York with you.
Yeah. That's not going to last. It's not.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it may.
Will says, have you been seeing the whiskey reviews that he's been sending you on Instagram? Pete actually reached out to Woodford Reserve, and we were hoping to get a sponsorship, and we haven't yet to hear back.
Yeah, sons of bitches.
I mean, it's not like we don't drink the stuff,
It's like I told those people up in Wisconsin, because they buy Crown and stuff like that in the bars.
Yeah.
I go, look, buy good bourbon. You're not going to lose money on it. I'm here all summer. I promise you, you're not going to lose money on it.
And you're bringing me with you next year.
Exactly. It's not.
Good God. I mean, the Eden Reserve. Now,
I like it.
Eden Reserve. I guess that's what we could call that.
Well, actually, hold on. I got an Eden Reserve.
I think several bottles of miscellaneous stuff. Hey, miscellaneous stuff drinks just as well as anything else, as long as it's not military special bourbon. And Corey, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you can get it at the Classics, and it's on the bottom of the bottom shelf.
Oh.
Is it what I think you're showing me?
All right.
Is it what I think you're showing me?
Yeah, this will come with us to Fallout. I'm not going to say where this came from, but it is now turned into a bourbon. And
it had oak
touches in it.
Yeah, we put oak staves in it in April.
Yeah.
In April. And those oak staves have sat in it since April. And then we added, you want to tell them what we added?
No, we'll let them. We'll pass it around. So I will say it was 100% clear when we got it.
It was.
And now it's not, and it has a nice taste to it. So Russ has made me promise not to take any more of it until Fallout. So
at least until I can taste it.
Right. Because you were here when we did that, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
So Patrick, okay, you're coming to Fallout, yes? If so, that would be most appreciative if you could bring that down this way. And we'll go from there with that.
It was at one time, Jose.
Not anymore.
Now it's finely oaked bourbon.
Finely oaked bourbon. And Christy said, Birchwood Burning sounds like a good bottle name to me. And it does. It
really does.
That does. It really does. We might need to talk to our distiller.
We do have a guy.
We know a guy.
Even if we just makes a small batch for us.
Yeah.
Chrissy, I really pissed off some of those liberals in Minnesota and in Wisconsin with that book. They're very angry with me. They're very small, very a minority, but very vocal. I love it.
Yeah, but at least you don't have the whole Cajun Navy coming after you.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. We're working on that.
Yeah, we are. Oh, you're going to try to come down you're going to try to make it to Pete's place in February. Oh,
sweet. Okay.
All right. Wood flavored racing fuel. I like it.
Very cool. So guys, nothing scheduled tonight. Just we're still alive thing, and we missed you, and we can finally let our hair down and let our facial hair grow a little bit, and get to talk to y'all, because like I said, we do miss you, and like I said, we're alive.
Yep. And we're gonna and luckily we're gonna get to see most of these folks by probably Thursday this week.
Except for Javi. Javi won't be there.
Yeah, well,
Javi needs to go through Troy's Gate.
He does. Now, Javi, when I talked to him on the phone, he wasn't sure if his other plans were going to go through or not. So, Javi, has that changed? And if it has, If it
Tell me.
hasn't changed, then you need to bring your happy ass to freaking Fallout. And Rev's
Yeah.
not on here. Rev's not on here tonight, so I'm going to cuss at Will. So
Yeah, thanks.
but
He'll text me tomorrow and goes, "You were live last night?"
yeah, I know, right?
Oh, yep. Lily says
right.
Javi's in
Yes.
Scotland. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know, Diane. We'll get you to Mountain Randomness.
Well, Javi and Patrick maybe will at least be at the February get together. So
Yeah, and I tell you, we got Chris, the Cajun Navy, mad at Chris, and NC Scout has just about every sad ham in the nation mad at him. So it's been pretty comical over on X, guys. You need to follow some folks over there. Follow Pete. Make sure you follow Pete. We're trying to get him a bigger presence over there. But I tell you, you sit there and read some of the comments on some of these other guys, and it's just absolutely hilarious.
yeah, I'm really digging X. I used to not like it, but now I'm really digging it.
As well, you should have, Lily.
Good. That'll be a good time. Might make Las Vegas just as a getaway. Good. S2 Underground has declared open season on sad hams.
Yeah, they have. They really have.
Yeah.
NC Scout had this guy, and then the guy goes and posted his call sign on there, and Scout was like, "Well, guys, here's a free call sign if you want to use it."
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Okay. So, Will, a sad ham is probably what I would consider an old timer. And Nick, if you're on here, you can probably answer it up better. Nick, can you explain what a sad ham is to everybody? Because my definition might be wrong. My definition is a sad ham is one of these old timers that learned how to do, the whole, Morse code, the whole 9 yards, and they're very strict. The range fuds of the ham world. Gotcha. That's a very good analogy, Corey. Those guys that are super hyper focused on these are the rules they gotta have here, and they're fussing about people wanting to use hams in an emergency situation. Well, you're allowed to do that in an emergency situation. And if nice letter saying this is why I did it, because I was trying to maybe get some training.
Yeah, that's like I tell, and that's why a lot of the hams get mad at me, because I say at least buy a ham radio and listen to your local nets, listen to the jargon, right? Because when a state of emergency takes place, at least you know what the jargon is. You know how to respond to a radio call. You know how to give a radio call. But that's why, like I was when we had Nick on the other night, I said, just get a ham radio and listen to your local repeater. For the love of God, it's for $30. You can get one of these Chinese-made radios and listen. Me and Guy were able to talk over a long distance through a repeater just with these little Bayo things. I mean, look, they use them in Afghanistan. They use them in Syria. They're using them in the Ukraine. They work. Now, the Chinese may be listening to you, but whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
As long as they're not the Israelis where they'll blow it up.
Yeah, but we know those guys. We're good. So Nick says he usually heard it referred to as someone who always follows the rules. So, yeah, kind of the same thing.
So they're the Karens of the ham world. They're the Karens of the ham world.
The Kens and Karens.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Javi, Vegas, just Melissa. Just Melissa's going to go. I'm going to be in classes all week, so she'll be out doing whatever women do in Vegas while I'm trying to build a business
how to write
here.
Better. Yep.
Yeah.
Learn how to promote your business better. And speaking of Franklin, did you see on Facebook today that he's got a new series coming out? It sounds like it's got a female character as a main lead. He has a female narrator he's working with.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty good. I think we know. I haven't read anything by Franklin that isn't bad.
Yeah,
That is bad.
If
You
Franklin's
know,
putting it out, it's going to be gold. I love that
exactly.
guy. I make no qualms about it. He's the best in the business,
Yeah.
100%, hands
And,
down, not even a question.
yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, he is still coming to Fallout.
Hmm.
So we'll see him there. Um, Brian Duff will be at Fallout as
Oh, I
well. So
forgot about that.
you
Yes.
guys will get to meet Brian. I don't know if he's going to have his books out or not there or not. Um, Survival Gear BSO. Brian Loftus will be there.
Hmm.
Steph was coming. I don't know if she still is, because if you guys have been following Steph on Facebook, she's been a little busy. That girl's been jobbing
I
it.
I talked to her. She is going to come, but she's not going to be a vendor. She'll just stop for
Right.
the day. Egghead Warrior. I would start with the Borrowed World series because that's one of his first, and that's everything is based on the same event. But once you get done with the Borrowed World series, go into Locker 9 and Mad Mick. You will not be disappointed with that.
No.
Mad Mick, I love it. I love the Mad
Mad
Mick
Mick
series.
is the bomb. Mad Mick is, to
But if you have,
me,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say that. I think I was going to say the same thing you are. Mad Mick is by far what I think is his best series. But the Locker 9 series, especially book 1,
Mhm.
if you got kids that are getting ready to go to college, okay, this is going to sound sexist. You guys know me. I'm going to say it anyway, especially if you have young ladies that are going to college and possibly
Mhm.
are good ways away from home. Read Locker 9. It will open your eyes and give you some insight into things that you can do to help in a shit hit the fan situation.
Yeah. Yeah, Patrick. Look, anything by Franklin, especially if you like audible books. Kevin Pierce is narrating. He's the best, obviously, in the business. Also, yeah, Borrowed World series. Go into Locker 9, and then go into Mad Mick. You are not going to be disappointed with Mad Mick. I love that series. I love it. And
Way of
one of my favorite series with him was the Way of Dan series.
The way I was just going to mention, Way of Dan. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was, and he's writing that one now. I think it might be an editor, so I'm not going to speak for him, but that's going to be the last book in that series. Cool book, cool series.
Yeah, and I'm not an Audible guy. You know this,
Mm-hmm.
but I did listen to the first Eden Army book on Audible, and I really enjoyed it.
I was pleasantly surprised.
I was, I really was. You and I have had conversations on it, and
Yeah,
you were about that much stress about it, but it came out very well. And
mm-hmm.
from what I understand, the sales of it are doing well. I know I'm one of them, and
Yep.
he seems to be starting to kick ass on book 2, and we're going to rock and roll with it, man. I think you made a good choice with it. I think you also made a very good choice with the Birchwood Burning one. I've listened to bits and pieces of it when you were going through the editing process with it. Guys, if you haven't already got Birchwood Burning and read it, when it comes out on Audible, you need to grab it. And that's my shameless
Yeah,
plug. So
yeah. So my internet connection was messing up, but if you guys didn't hear Rust, and let me say this about Matt White, great narrator. He's not Kevin Pierce, but I didn't want him to be Kevin Pierce on this book because this is a different style book. Okay, this is a book about a guy that's not a prepper, a guy that basically thinks preppers are conspiracy theorist type dudes, but it realizes that might be a little bit something to it, and he was the right fit for Birchwood Burning. Good. I'm glad. I hope. Yeah. And Egghead, I'm learning. I'm learning this stuff. Trying to produce Audible books and this and line up talent and stuff like that. It's a learning process for me. I'm not gonna never lie. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I'm an expert at it like Franklin is. But I did. I was pleasantly surprised, and I was not gonna listen to it. I was not gonna listen to it. But I'm like, I gotta freaking listen to it. But
you did. You know.
yeah.
So Koala 95 as this is where you know, Pete, that you have arrived. Okay? This is where you know you have now arrived. When's the next book coming out? They want
Yep.
more book.
So
Okay.
my struggle here, guys, is
You build out power for 5 days.
well. Besides that, besides fighting for my life against Mother Nature for the last 5 days, besides that, my struggle is: do I really go after book 4 of the Eden series, or do I tackle book 2 of Birchwood Burning? That's my struggle. I've started both of them, but I know that I can only do one at a time because it's going to flow better. So, Bushwood, yeah, nice. So I think my consensus from the fans, not just you guys that watch this podcast and stuff like that, but also from the publishers' fans, Boyd Craven's fans, and Katie Light's fans, I think we're going to tackle Birchwood Burning next. I think that's the game plan. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know how far I'm going to get within the next week or two because we've got a lot going on, but that's my game. That is my game plan. So Birchwood Burning 2. I don't know what they're going to call it yet, but.
So I like this comment here. Who needs power? Longhand works. Have you seen Pete's writing? His handwriting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not.
A medic's handwriting, firefighter medic's handwriting is like one step above a doctor's. And it's a very small step.
Right. it's true. Battle Gnome, I 100% agree with you on this. I do want Velcro back patches. I just haven't found a source for that yet. But yes, I agree. I'll get some. I promise. Yes, I'm working on it. I do have stickers though. I will have stickers for you. Yep. Birchwood Ashes. That's actually something that's been going through my mind there. I got to figure out exactly where the book's going to go right now. All I know is how it's starting. Where they end is up to the book. I have no idea. I'm not classically trained in writing. I barely know English, guys. So the book, I don't know where this next book is going to end. I don't know how it's going to end. You guys say, "Oh, you'll leave me with a cliffhanger." That's not on purpose. It's really not. I wish it was. I wish I was that smart. But just.
I will say this, guys. You know, being on the inside track, what he has thus far for his, yep, I'm going to start on this, and he threw a bunch of words on the paper. It's right where it needs to be, guys. Is gonna be awesome. Is all. We know words good too. Absolutely.
I never said I was a writer. I just put stuff on paper, and I don't care where it ends up. I enjoy doing it, and that's just the way it is. So,
absolutely.
What else you got, Russ? You got anything else, brother? I'm
Man,
about ready to go to bed.
I don't disagree with you there, but I got a little bit more bourbon, so you can't go to bed yet.
All right, we'll kill these, and then we'll work it.
Yeah, but guys, what do you? So let's talk a little bit about the February event. We had discussed maybe doing some classes here or there and stuff like that.
No, we're not doing classes during February.
No classes. Nope. Okay, so we're just gonna hang out.
Here's
like
the deal.
Last time Melissa did the canning class.
Yeah,
and that went over really well.
If Melissa wants to do
something simple, I mean, what would they want to see? I mean, but what would they want to see?
Yeah, if you guys want to do something, we'll definitely make that happen. But ultimately, February for me is just a thank you to everybody, right? Because I'm not supposed to be the guy that's writing books. I'm not supposed to be that guy. And I'm not supposed to be the guy successful at writing books. So this is what the February event is all about. Now, I do have a background in firearms training. So if anybody wants to do some of that, more than happy to do that. We did not do that last time.
For reasons.
For anyway, yes.
For reasons, because we had no sleep.
Yeah. That. I'm good at that. Kelly. I'm very good at that. So we can sit around the fire and I can teach you all the ins and outs of proper bourbon drinking. I'm very well versed at that. Yeah, that's Patrick. That's exactly what it is. And look, but I'm not going to miss the opportunity to give some insight about preparedness. And if anybody wants to learn how to pressure can something, 100%. I mean, we were up in Wisconsin, and Melissa's doing pressure canning classes, right? Because that's an important thing. I've been eating pressure can food for the last 3 days that we did 3 years ago. Look, I'm not dead yet, and that may be because of the alcohol, but not sure.
Yeah. So, when is this ruck march you got planned?
Good question. So first of all, let me address this from Patrick. Cell phone cameras not allowed during the February event. I'll take all the pictures we have and make a collage out of them.
Can you pull that up from last year? Can you pull that up?
Not right now. I can't. I don't have it queued.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
But usually what happens at Eden stays at Eden. We do
kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. The Ruck March is scheduled for January. If anybody wants to go on that, Guy and Christy, Mama Tooch, Tiny Tooch are going to go on it. And basically what we're going to do is
I need to know those dates.
Yeah, I don't know those dates. It's going to be, I'll tell you though. But basically what we're going to do is start out like the beginning of book 1 on 3 Days to Eden started out, where we do that hike from Juniper Springs to Hidden Pond. It's a very easy hike. It's all flatlands. And we're going to spend 3 days out there and just sit there and talk and hang out and learn stuff. Good opportunity to test out your bug out bag. And that's what the girls are going to do. So that is going to happen in February. No date yet, but if anybody has any input on that, if somebody can get off work and says, I'd rather do this date, then we'll do that date.
So Nick, his range, I don't believe is quite suitable for your $26 rifle. And for those of you that don't know what Nick is talking about, Nick bought 2 $13 raffle tickets and won a 338 Lopua.
Oh yeah, we'll blast it. I had a 50 out there.
Oh, awesome. I looked at a 50 today. I went to a gun show today. I had to go pick up some new merchandise that will be available for Angry American. I'm not telling you what it is. It's going to be a surprise. And I went to a gun show today. And unfortunately, I just didn't have the scratch on hand to pick up a Barrett 50 cal with 1,000 rounds, to include some AP rounds in it. And it was they wanted 17,000 for it. I mean, I could have written them a check for it and handed it to them and said, dude, please do not let this out of your hand, because if you drop it, it will bounce to the moon.
Right. Yeah, I can write any check you want.
Oh, any check you want, I'll write it. Just hold on to it.
So Chrissy says 3 days. I thought it was 2 days. So let's talk about that title real quick, 3 Days to Eden. So the reason I put 3 Days to Eden was I always anticipated a 3-day walk home from there, should anything happen. And that's about right. It was a 3-day walk home. Did it take? No, it took 3 days because remember, they actually spent the extra day with the Navy SEALs training prior to going. So it actually was 3 days for them to get home, allegedly. So let's see what Egghead says here.
To get them much closer to home, in the East, in 3 Days to Eden. So they walk for a total of 3 days, but it would have probably taken them a little bit longer if they hadn't. And I mean, I don't know the layout of the land, so.
Yeah, no. So I figured if I anticipated a shit hit the fan scenario, it would take us 3 days to get there. We're talking about 80 miles. We would hump it. We could make it happen, especially if it starts out early in the event. before you had to strictly walk at night, right? So that's what I always figured, and there was a little bit of biblical background to that also, guys. Because if you know me, you know I'm a spiritual guy. So Jesus rose within 3 days, and that there's a whole Jewish thing behind that. But anyway, they did stop at the DeLand Airport. You're right, and they actually got a ride back, which saved them a lot of time.
Yep. And Egghead, my advice to you, knowing approximately where you're at, have some way to get your stuff in one container. And as soon as you think, if it is that type of situation, you need to unask the AO at least toward Nevada.
Yeah. So here's
and go from there.
Yeah, here's my thought process. And Egghead, read the Locker 9 series.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that's going to give you an idea of what you need to do. But Russ is 100% right. Once you read that Locker 9 series, then I think you'll find that Vegas area, of course, not downtown, might be a good spot to put your assets.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if your deal is to get to Colorado, probably can't help you. But if you want to come all the way to Florida, we might be able to work something out. But you got to have the assets to keep you alive until then, right?
And what was I going to say here? Let's see. Go ahead and answer Will's question, and then while I think about what I was going to tell him.
So here's the deal, Will. Whatever you have in your bug out bag, just bring it. If you want to use it, look, in my bug out bag, guess what I have? Lighters and matches. Okay, because I'm not a fucking caveman. So that's part of something I can prep. But if you want to strictly start fires with your fire starter, 100%. If it's in your bug out, do it. This is the time. This is the time to do it. No, I don't. And Chrissy, I don't care. It's whatever you think. Whatever you think is good for your bug out bag. We'll weed it out. You'll see what works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just like this hurricane, I knew what worked and didn't work, and I'll make adjustments. It's not a test. It's not a big deal. We're just gonna go out there and camp. We're gonna go camp for 3 days.
Yep, and exactly. And guys, I mean, most of you guys know me personally. You know that I do not have the physical capability of doing a lot of this stuff anymore. I have the knowledge, and I will do the best I can in this situation. I had my bag torn down by Angry American while being overseen by Tactical Rifleman. You can go to Tactical Rifleman's YouTube page and find the video. My bag weighed 20 pounds more than it needed to be. Now my bag, I can comfortably carry it at my pace, whatever distance I can make in a day. And Teresa's the same way. Hers is lighter. If you got a fire starter, definitely bring it. Zippos fail, you're going to run out of fluid.
Why not?
Bic lighters. Get a real Bic lighter. Don't get one of those plastic ones that you can see through. Number one, I've had a bust in my vehicle, during the heat of the summer. And they're just not durable enough. A Bic lighter, matches. You can make your own waterproof matches. Light a candle, let the wax melt, dip them in the wax. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Find the Strike Anywhere matches and do them that way. And yes, Egghead, I had so much fun. That was my very first time ever on video. And I had a great time doing it. Carl and his folks are just awesome. And you bring what you carry. You bring what you carry. You got to carry it. Is the way Pete's been talking to me about this thing. And, all right, see? I like that idea, Diane. Being able to pull it. Number one, it also gives you that gray man aspect. You're sitting there with a combat ruck, an Alice pack, or whatever. People are like, well, that's a military pack. What's in there? Same thing. We go to OPSEC. Total sidebar. Stickers of tactical stuff on your truck. I'm guilty. It just is what it is. I can get away with the Angry American sticker and the Eden Army stickers, but my Surefire light stickers, maybe tactical rifleman stickers, probably not going to go on my truck. It's going to go on my side by side though.
Yeah, my wife doesn't know the definition of target indicators, right? She's so we're up north in liberal Wisconsin for the most part. Not really where we're at, but we're close enough to Minneapolis. And she decides every time she's going to go to the bar with a Trump shirt on that says "You missed me, bitches." So clearly,
you have to think about the bars we've been going to up there. She's okay.
That's true. But she doesn't mind going like into St. Paul and stuff like that. And I'm like, Melissa, I'm going to fight. You're going to get me into a fight. Stop doing this. But she doesn't listen. It just is what it is.
It is what it is, man. So I don't know if my lovely bride is still listening, but I'm going to get in trouble for it if she ever does. So she knew I was planning to go hunting this week. And she has been in packing mode ever since last Saturday when you and I talked last, and we didn't know what was going on with the situation we may have gone to. And so I get ready to go hunting, and I go looking for my bug tamer jacket to keep the mosquitoes off of me. Not where I left it. She had put it away. So I went and found it. My thermocell, which in South Carolina, where I hunt, you need a thermocell and a bug tamer because mosquitoes will tote you off. Oh, those are in the camper already.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's sneaking up behind you. She's sneaking up behind you.
Thanks for the warning, Pete. Mm-hmm. And she's going to hit me with a dog toy.
Oh, Lord. All right, guys, listen, we've been going about 2 hours. I love you all. I just wanted to give you an idea that we're indication that we were safe and that we missed you guys. Let's see. Well, now everyone's chatting it up here. Let's see what Dan says.
Yeah.
Yeah, over toward Madison, you don't want to do that.
No.
Oops, went too fast.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Battle Gnome, when you're here on Wednesday or in February, or when you see her at Fallout, ask her about our first date and the motorcyclist. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but ask her about our first date and the motorcyclist, and you'll get an idea of what she thinks. So, all right, guys, let's call the ball. Russ, got anything to leave us with, brother?
Man, as always, get prepared. Think about your community. Work with your community. Up there in Appalachia, community works. And that's proof. Yeah. And don't forget, guys, it doesn't matter what your birth date is. It doesn't matter what your end date is. It's about the dash. We live for today, but let's prepare for tomorrow because it's only going to get worse before it gets worse. That's all I got, brother.
Yep, good stuff. And guys, I know for certain I use every aspect of this hurricane as a preparedness learning tool. So any chance you get to put your preps to work, certainly do it. And as always,